Good afternoon everyone, this is Sandeep Kaur. Today we are going to start chapter 11, The Proposal by Anton Chekhov. Right? So let us first of all we'll understand or we'll justify the title here. Clear? I'll tell you why the title The Proposal. It is there for the story because the story proposal means what? See here in your book also three meanings are given here, right? A suggestion, plan or scheme for doing something, an offer for a possible plan or action, the act of asking someone's hand in marriage. Clear? So here proposal means the third one, the act of asking someone's hand in marriage. Clear? The protagonist here or the hero here, he is asking for the lady's hand, right? The female protagonist's hand for marriage, and he proposes her. And the whole story, it revolves around the proposal only, the marriage proposal only, the theme and subject. And subject is proposal only. Right? So this title is quite appropriate. It is justified. The proposal means the marriage proposal by the male protagonist to the female protagonist. Right? And after that you can write how he made the proposal according to the word limit. If the question, it will be there in your exam. Clear? Now comes the theme. What is the theme of the story? Or play. It is a play actually, one act play. Right? What is a one act play? Means which is performed in one act only, which do not have any episode. Right? Means once a curtain is raised, plays are what they are displayed or they are played on stage, performed on stage. Right? So once a curtain it is raised, it doesn't fall. Or it falls at the end of the act only. That is one act play. Right? So the theme of this play is the lifestyle of Russian landlords. Okay, in the play, the writer, clear, Anton, he has displayed very beautifully the lifestyle, or the whole play, it just moves around the lifestyle of Russian landlords. And through his character also he has told us, or he has discussed, displayed the features, characteristic features of their lifestyle. Right? There are mainly three characters in the chapter that we will discuss after discussing theme only. So basically the lifestyle of these landlords, it is idle. They are shown idle here. They are very rich. Okay. So their land, it is means all the activities on land related to farming, they are done by the workers only, laborers only, and the landowners, the landlords, they themselves are just idle and keep them busy in petty quarreling and useless things only. Clear? Theme is clear to you all? Lifestyle of Russian landlords, right? Okay, next, characters. See, before reading any writing piece, it is very important to know about the characters. As you see in the movies itself, what happens before introduction or before movie, you see numbering is there, means names of heroes and heroines and characters is there. So it is very important to know about the characters. If you know the characters very well, you know half of the story. Right? So here characters are clear, Lamov. Complete names are given over there. Right? Ivan Lamov actually. Second is Natalia and her father Stefan. Chubukov is the surname over here.
And the story and everywhere and there is dialogue is Chubukov.
Complete name is Stefan Chubukov, na? Actually. Right? Clear? Okay, so where we were? We were discussing the characters. Lomov, he is a 35-year-old young man, 35-year-old man, okay, unmarried. Right? Natalia, she is an intelligent and beautiful young girl. And Stephen, he is Natalia's father. So before starting the chapter, a brief introduction of the chapter is given in the very starting. Okay, that is on page number 143. We'll go through this introduction. Good evening everyone. I am Sandeep Kaur. Today we'll continue with chapter 11, the proposal. Right? So the other day we discussed the characters, the theme as well as the title of the chapter. Clear? So before discussing the main points of the chapter, as the plate is very lengthy actually, so that is why we are just discussing the main points, and just by doing main points only, the whole story of the plate will be very clear to you. Okay, you people can read the whole play at home and ask if there is any query. Clear? So let me tell you all, this chapter is actually about fights. Fights of Russian people, fight of Natalia and Lomov, right? And that whole chapter, it tells us about their behavior, about their habits, their idleness, and their fight over petty things. Clear? Actually, in the chapter, they fight over two petty things. One is the ownership of a land, and the other is a fight over dogs. Clear? So we can say that this play, it is divided into two parts. We can assume, right? In first, it is the fight over land ownership, and second is over the dogs. Clear? So let me tell you the very first point, when actually the scene of the play, the first scene or the setting of the play is Chubukov's house, right? Lomov comes at Chubukov's house. He is in very formal dress. He has worn a long coat, gloves and everything. Clear? And Lomov comes there and wishes Chubukov very well. Chubukov also, he welcomes him very well. Okay, so in the very starting of the play, the very polite and well-mannered nature of these people is shown over here. Okay, it is also shown, or with the gestures of Chubukov, we come to know that Chubukov is extremely happy to meet him. He asks him to sit down and he inquires that why he is in that formal dress, and all the way of asking, it is very polite and well-mannered, it is very formal. Okay, you can see in your book even that so many words are used by Chubukov over there as well as by Lomov. You can read on page number, what is the first page number? 144. 144. Okay, so here we can see on page number 144, my angel, my treasure, my precious. Okay, so these words are used by Chubukov for Lomov. These words are expressing his love for his neighbor, right? So here what happens, Chubukov feels that he must have, means after just welcoming him and all, he asks him that why he has come over there, and he gets side and he feels that he might have come over there for borrowing some money, and he discusses, or he's thinking in his mind only, in his heart only, that whether he should give him the money or not. But Le Mauve tells him that he has come there with a purpose, with a special purpose. He tells him that he wants to request him about something. Suddenly, he gets excited. Le Mauve, he gets very excited. Chupko feels that he must have come to borrow, as I have told you that he was feeling that he had come to borrow money. But Le Mauve starts to speak and talk about random things that we will read in the chapter about different things. He means he is hesitating. So Le Mauve's character is coming out here, that Le Mauve is hesitating. He is not that much confident because he did not directly come to the proposal. Okay. So finally he tells Chupko that he has come there to ask for Natalia's hand, and Chupko also gets excited at hearing this. Clear? So this was what happened when Le Mauve he came at Chupko's house. Clear? Then second main point is Chupko's reaction to the proposal. When the father of the daughter, Natalia's father, that is Chupko, when he came to know that the neighbor who is 35 years old, he has proposed his 25 years old daughter. Okay? So it was not a shock for him, rather he was surprised. Why? Because these people, as I told you while explaining the characters also, that these people, they are just after money. Okay, their motive for marriage is not only love, it is actually to have others' money also. They make relations in order to increase their, property or their level of money. Clear? So how he reacted when he came to know that Le Mauve had proposed Natalia for marriage, or he wanted to propose actually, how he reacted? He gets so happy and excited, and he starts to behave idiotically. He hugged his neighbor Le Mauve with love, and he just said that Chupko, that Le Mauve asked him that he needs his consent, he needs father's consent for marriage. But Chupko tells him that he was always hoping for his and Natalia's match. He already likes him. Clear? And he was very happy if Le Mauve would marry Natalia. Clear? This was Chupko's reaction to the proposal. Clear to you all? Book is in your hand. Okay. Next is, so in the meantime, what happened? The father, Chupko, he went inside so that he could send Natalia to Le Mauve in the drawing room, and in the meantime Le Mauve was alone in that drawing room. So what he was planning in his mind? Actually Le Mauve is very nervous over here. Clear? Due to his age, he is feeling a bit inferior, that either Natalia, she would accept him or not. So what he is thinking, third point, he is thinking about Natalia and his life. He is thinking that Natalia, she is intelligent as well as she is beautiful also. That will come to know in the next part of the chapter also, that actually Natalia is a very intelligent girl, very responsible. Okay, so he says, or he thinks that if he would have looked a perfect partner, he would have never got one and would have remained unmarried. Okay, actually he was already 35. So if he would seek for the perfect match, he would never get married. Clear? And Natalia, no doubt, and she is not bad looking, she is an okay girl, and she is educated also, intelligent also, and so he is ready to marry Natalia, and he starts jump like a mad person over here. So this is what he is thinking about Natalia and his own life over here. Clear? Next point is formal talk between Le Mauve and Natalia. So when Natalia came, father told her that some tradesperson had come over here. Okay, he did not tell Natalia directly that who had come. And Natalia, she was quite shocked when she saw Le Mauve. Okay, and she told him to excuse her as she was not in proper dress. her dress was a bit, see, dirty we can say, or it was with stains, because she told that she had been shelling the peas over there inside. Clear? There is a word given over there. Please see the word in your book. It is actually what you call it. Just wait. Negligee. Page number 146. Natalia's dialogue, second dialogue. The word is negligee. Okay, she is saying that you must excuse my apron and negligee. Negligee is gown. Clear? Her dress. Right? Because she had been shelling peas for drying. Right? So, it was a formal talk only. Actually, they were, see here it is shown, I told you in the first part of the chapter, or in the first part of the play, it is shown that all the people, all the Russian people, they are very well mannered and they welcome their guests very well. And guests, they are also very, treat their, or they behave with their host very well. Clear? So here what does she say? They just talk about formal things. They just discuss about the harvest. And here one quality of Natalia, it is very, see, it shows that she is laborious also. Like she said, I completed the work of harvesting. Okay, I did not know that it would rain, so I completed the work of harvesting in advance. See, there is a sentence over there, can you see? Okay, so this shows that she is very hardworking and responsible. Okay, then she said that she did not know, or she's afraid that her hay would rot now. Clear? So they are just talking formally only, they are discussing about. But before Lamov told Natalia about his purpose of the visit, they were off the point. Off the point means the topic was changed. He starts telling her that he has known his family for a very long time. Again he is hesitating. He is not directly proposing her. Okay, he was just to propose her for marriage, but suddenly he hesitated and they started discussing about the family. Okay, so what did he say? He starts telling that he has known his family for a long time. He also tells her that how he inherited his land and how he respects her father, Natalia's father. Okay, he tells Natalia that Oxen Meadows, see here the fight, it started. Right? He told Natalia that his Oxen Meadows touch Natalia's Bergwoods. His Oxen Meadows. Oxen Meadows and Bergwoods. Lomov's Oxen Meadows touches Natalia's Bergwoods. Right? This statement he made. Okay. On hearing this, Natalia says that the Oxen Meadows are theirs. Clear? Is it clear? From here, the formal talk between Lamov and Natalia, it changed into argument regarding the land ownership. Clear or not clear? Okay. Argument regarding the land ownership. Now, what was the argument actually? Lamov said that his Oxen Meadows, they touch, or they are just, see, in the neighboring of Birchwoods of Natalia. So she said, whose Oxen Meadows? Your Oxen Meadows? No, they are our Oxen Meadows. Okay. So Natalia, she gets serious and she tells him that Oxen Meadows do not belong to him. Right? They actually belong to Natalia's family. Lamov tried to clarify everything, that he is talking about the Oxen Meadows that are between her Bergwoods and the Burnt Marsh. Burnt Marsh. Okay? So he said, I am talking about this land which is between Burnt Marsh and Bergwoods. Right? And Natalia insists that still she did not agree with him, and she said, no, they are ours only. But Lamov, he refused it. He tells her that his aunt's grandmother, she gave this piece of land, she gave this oxen meadows, clear, to her father's grandfather. He told that is, please speak, this you'll have to write in question. Till you don't speak this, these relations, these will not come to you, or you will not be able to write these in exam. Okay, so what did she say? His aunt's grandmother, okay, she gave those meadows to her father's grandfather. Okay, and the peasants used the land for 40 years. Okay, when the they use the land for 40 years, though they used to call them our oxen meadows, we are going to the oxen meadows, these are our oxen, our land. Okay, so in this way, people used to think that these oxen meadows are of Natalia, right? But Natalia, she did not agree with him, and the argument, it remained continued between both of them. So Natalia refuses and sticks on the point that those meadows are theirs. Lemov, on the other hand, says that he has the documents to prove it. Lemov, he was trying, or means both were very adamant. Okay, both were very stubborn. They did not move from their point. She was saying that this was my land. He was saying that this was his land. Right? Or my land. Again, he was also saying. So Lemov, on the other hand, he was saying that he has the documents to prove that this land is his. Natalia tells him that they had the land for nearly 3 years now. Both of them continue fighting over the ownership of the land. Right? And Lemov offers, then Lemov, he just alienated somewhat, he showed a soft corner because he tried to shut down the matter, right? So what did he do? He just made an offer to Natalia that he can present this piece of land to Natalia. Okay, but she was not ready. She again said that she can make a present of this land to him. But she would not accept the point that this land or this piece of land, it belonged to Lemov, and as well as he was not ready to accept the point that this piece of land, it belonged to Natalia. Right? And they started shouting at each other. Okay? Then hearing their fight, Chupkov entered over there. He again came to the drawing room and he took Natalia's side. Father, he took daughter's side. Okay, so Chupkov, he enters the room. Natalia asked him to tell Lemov. Natalia said, Father, you tell him that this land is ours. Okay, and they own them. So Chupkov also supported his daughter and regards the meadows as theirs. Lemov refuses, and Chupkov says that by shouting that Lemov cannot prove that oxen meadows are theirs. So this fight, it continued. Clear? Please read up to this. How much we have covered? You people are having books also. Till which page number?
150.
114, 150.
Okay, 149, 150 also we have covered. Please go through the text fast if there is any doubt, and I will tell you the difficult words also in the chapter thereafter. Please go through it first. If there is any doubt, you can ask. So when Chupkov enters in the drawing room and Natalia and Lemov were already fighting over there, so Chupkov, he took Lemov's side, right? Natalia's side, right? So at this, Lemov, he get furious and he started accusing and abusing both father and daughter, right? And similarly, Chupkov also, he accused Lemov by saying that he cannot talk to him like that as he was double in age to him. Clear? And he was also Lemov was actually talking very disrespectfully with the Chupkov. Clear? So Lemov says that he is calling his land his, and in this, if Chupkov feels that it is very disrespectful, then he cannot do anything. Right? He calls Chupkov a land grabber. He said that you people, your family is of land grabbers. You people are cheaters and all. So Lomov threatens that he would take Chupkov to the court. A lot of abuses are exchanged between them. Okay, like Chupkov says that Lomov's grandfather, he was a drunkard. His younger aunt ran with an architect. Clear? In this way, they went to their forefathers and they accused the whole family of each other. Right? Lomov felt that he was dying because I told you in the starting that Lomov has a problem of palpitation. Okay, whenever he gets excited, either it is due to happiness or due to anger or anything else, he gets palpitation, right? Heavy breathing. So Lomov felt that due to this accusing and abusing, due to this fighting, he would die soon. So after abusing each other, Lomov, he left their house. Clear? So when Lomov left the house, so they only father and daughter were there. So after some time, Chupkov tells Natalia the purpose of Lomov's visit. What was the purpose? That he had come to propose Natalia for marriage, right? And hearing the word propose or marriage, Natalia inquires her father that why didn't he tell her earlier about this? If he would have told her earlier about this, she would never behaved in such a way. Okay, and she requested her father to take him back because she did not want to lose the chance. As in the very starting, the father himself stated that his daughter, she is a lovesick. Right? Lovesick means who actually needs love or who wants to marry. Right? So here what happened? Hearing this, Natalia, she started crying, and as I told you, she requested her father. Then next point, Natalia begs to be excused. Okay, in some or other way, they took Lomov back, and Lomov again came to their house, and Natalia, she just requested him to be excused. Okay, she begged him to be excused, right? Then they just again simple discussion started, formal discussion again started, and the talk, it automatically got shifted to the dogs. So here two dogs are mentioned, one is Squeezer and other is Guess. Squeezer is Natalia's dog, Guess is Lomov's dog. Right? So Lomov said that his dog, it costed him 125 rubles. And Natalia says, oh, 125 rubles, it is too much. She tells him that her father, he had given just 85 rubles for Squeezer, that is Natalia's dog, and says that it is better than Guess. Then they again fought over this point that whose dog is best. Lomov, he started saying that Squeezer's its jaw is lower and his upper jaw is shorter and lower jaw is shorter than the upper one, like this. Clear? Natalia says that Squeezer is of the finest pedigree. Pedigree is actually the breed of dogs. Clear? They both continued fighting over the breed of their dogs, and Chupkov enters and inquired them the matter, that what is the matter, why you people have again started fighting. Right? So Chupkov also says that Lomov's dog is old and short because he is a father and he has a fatherly heart. So again in the second fight also he took daughter's side indirectly. Right? Then next point, due to this fight, means as we have seen that earlier also Lomov, he had been suffering from that heart disease or palpitation. So when again next fight was there, so Lomov, he dropped to the ground. He fell over the ground. He just went unconscious. Right? So what happened? Lomov suddenly falls and Natalia asks her father what has happened to him. Okay. See how insensitive Natalia is and her father is. It is the character point. Lomov is lying over the ground, right? And see, he is not means improper. He is just what you call it, senseless over there, unconscious over there. But Natalia, she is still accusing and abusing him. Okay, that you will read in the text. Means I am telling the character point that she is quite insensitive and she is very adamant, very strong, right? And so Natalia asks her father that what has happened to him. Chupkov thinks that he has difficulty in breathing, right? Natalia says that she feels that Lemov is dead. Okay, she just died, means checked him whether he was breathing or not. And Chupkov then calls for water as well as a doctor. Clear? Thereafter, everything happened and at last both father and daughter, they felt that they would lose the chance of marrying or to get married with Lemov, and all the property, all the meadows, all the sea, lands, means they will lose everything, right? So finally both father and daughter, actually father, okay, what did he do? He asked Lemov to marry Natalia, right? So here Chupkov, he seems helpless and he starts accusing himself that why he is the father of a daughter, right? And he asked for a knife as well as a pistol. He started dramatizing over there that he would kill himself, and he just see what you call it. He is the unhappiest man over on the earth. And what happens? Lemov says that he sees stars. Lemov is also not in a see. He was also what you call it. He got unconscious, and he was saying that he would die now, right? So he asked where he is. Chupkov says that he should hurry up and marry Natalia. Forget everything, get up and marry Natalia. He also tells him that she is willing to marry him. Natalia becomes extremely happy on hearing that he would marry her now. Lemov would marry her now. Chupkov also feels very happy and offers some champagne for this occasion. Clear? In this way, the play ends, right? Just after two sets of fighting, one over the crops and second for the dogs. Squeezer and Guess. The fight was over. First fight was for Oxen Meadows. Clear? So at the play it has a happy ending, and the play it ends at the marriage of Lemov and Natalia. Please go through the text. If there is any problem, please ask. Thereafter, I will give you some vocabulary or we will discuss the meanings of some difficult words, right? Yes, this chapter has some complicated words, so please note down the words and their meanings. Page number 143, second line from below, second paragraph, second line, it's a farce. Farce means a funny play. Note down everyone. Funny play. Next, I told you already, on page number 144, the word my angel, treasure, precious, these are the words used for the loved ones or to give respect or to show love. Then third dialogue of Lemov. From below, second line, your pardon. Pardon means excuse. Page number 144. First dialogue of Chupkov, the word is by Jove. Page 145, sorry. 145, by Jove. Have you got it somewhere?
By Jove.
145, dear. By Jove, it means my God, or when we see, it's an expression to express surprise. When we are surprised. Next, second dialogue of Chupkov, second dialogue of Lemov, last word, consent. On page number 145. Consent. It is approval or permission. Note it down, everyone. Then, Chupkov's dialogue, second line, agard. Agard means it's an expression, like we say now, oh, really? Actually? Clear? So it's an expression of surprise or affirmation also means positive. Positive sir, means positive expression we can say. Then come to page 146. Natalia's dialogue, second dialogue, negligee, I told you it is down. Then Natalia's third dialogue, second line, splendid. Splendid means impressive. Here she says, no, the weather is splendid, means very impressive. Okay. Next is same dialogue of Natalia. There is in the fourth, fifth line, first word stacked. Stacked means collective. Then second last line, same paragraph, ball. Ball means a dance party here. Then we have page 147. Lamou's third dialogue. Second line, first word, wedged. Have you seen the word wedged? It means tightly packed. Like he said, na, he burnt marsh and what was that? Birchwood. So in between, wedged means tightly packed. उसके बिल्कुल बीच में. What was there? Oxen needles. Right? Then we have Lamou's dialogue, the longest one, which starts from but. In perpetuity. In perpetuity means bond for or means due to for some good work or a kind of contract or bond for some good work. Then Natalia's last dialogue, page 147, reckon. Reckon means I thought or opine. It is my opinion. I reckon. In my opinion or I think. Then we have page 148, Natalia's dialogue, 5 decitins. It's a land measurement. 1 decitin is equal to 2.7 acres. 1 decitin is equal to 2.7 acres. Then Lamou's dialogue, implore. First line, implore. Implore means to beg someone or to request. I implore you means I request you. I beg you. Implore. Lamou's dialogue. Then we have here Natalia's dialogue. First, second, third and fourth dialogue of Natalia. From below, fourth line, third line. If I were gypsies. Gypsies means homeless people. Then we have impudent. Last line of the same paragraph or the same dialogue, sorry. Impudent means shameless. Sorry, not shameless. Yes, shameless or rude. Then Lamou's dialogue, grabbed. Second line, grab. To obtain immorally. Kabza kar lena. Impound. Right? Then we have carafe. Steps to the carafe. Carafe means a kind of glass container in a beautiful shape. Come on page 149. Mowers. First line, Natalia's dialogue, mowers. Mower means the people who cut grass. Mower is actually machine also. Or mowers are people who do that work. Grass cutting. Then again one Lamou's dialogue, I'll give it to them in the neck. Lamou said, I'll give it to them in the neck. That means I would hit them. I would hit them. Clutches means holds. Then again Natalia's dialogue is there, please, which starts from please. Same line, horse, there is a word horse, loud. Excruciating, Lamou's dialogue, excruciating, painful, very extremely painful. Palpitation, though we have done a lot of times, that is heartbeat, heavy breathing. 150 page. Lamo's dialogue, second last line, accustomed, habitual. Then again Chupko's first, second, third, fourth dialogue. Last line, agitating, angry or disturbing, making angry or disturbing. Page 151. First line, you pettifogger. Pettifogger means evil-minded. Then Lamo's dialogue, embezzlement. See if the camera is it on. Embezzlement means theft or cheating. We can say ghapla, something like that. Ghotala, right? It is cheating or theft. Humpbacked, Lamo's dialogue, second dialogue of Lamo, and your mother was humpbacked, having humpbacked back. Clear, like camel. Chubko's dialogue, guzzling gambler. Guzzling means one who eats or drinks greedily. हड़प कर जाना किसी की चीज. Chubko's dialogue, intriguer. Intriguer means conspirator who plans against someone. Here it is written as Chubko's, actually it should be Lamo's dialogue.
Yes.
Okay, this is a printing mistake over here. Yes, then Natalia's. Lamo staggers out. Page 151, Lamo staggers out. Have you got it? It is in italics.
Yes.
Staggers. Staggers means to and fro, like this. To and fro, stagger means. Then Chupkov, the villain, the scarecrow. Scarecrow means odd looking man. Here it is odd looking. Otherwise, so we know ki what is a scarecrow. That is used to see hush away, see birds in the farms, right? But here it is a kind of abusing, that odd looking. Then we call it wizen faced. Last line, wizen faced. Wrinkle faced. From colorless or pale. Then on page 152 there is no such word, that means that I find that it is complicated. Page 153. Pedigree, Natalia's dialogue, Natalia's first, second, third and fourth dialogue. Pedigree, it is a, see, breed. Pedigree, okay, it's a very impressive breed of dogs. Right, overshot. Next dialogue of Natalia, overshot. Overshot means having upper jaw extended the lobe. Whose upper jaw is bigger than the lower one. See, assume if human's face would be like this. Upper jaw is bigger than the lower one, right? Then worn out. Next. Okay, thoroughbred. Natalia's dialogue. Squeezer is a thoroughbred. Thoroughbred means of pure breed. Then worn out, tired. Worn out cab horse, tired. Again on page 154, there is no such word. Libel, Chupko's dialogue on page 155. Libel, responsible, tempered, state of mind. First word of second line. Chupko's dialogue. Then again from page 155 from below. Chupko's dialogue, second, third, fourth dialogue from below. Chupko's dialogue. Like a partridge. Partridge is a kind of bird. It's a bird. Then Chupko's second dialogue from below. Boy milksop. Milksop means forward.
Jesuit comes from Jesuit.
Where?
The most dialogue.
From bottom third dialogue.